Who knows if this Jeffrey Epstein scandal would be back in the news if it wasn't for Elon Musk and his dislike all of a sudden for Donald Trump. It's all because of this tweet that you see on your screen right now that we're all talking about the Jeffrey Epstein Donald Trump scandal again. Trump spent an absorbent amount of time during his campaign talking about release the Epstein files, thinking it was going to hurt Democrats, Obama, Clinton. Well, guess what? That has backfired. And right now, he's on his heels, backpedaling, trying to get us to stop talking about it. Listen to this clip real quick of him going off on a reporter who's just asking the question of Pam Bondi about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Listen at this.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
Yes, Donald, we are still talking about the Jeffrey Epstein files and his case because your attorney general and your FBI director cannot keep their story straight on this. So people are not believing them, even your MAGA followers. But there's some other people that's involved in this, like Jeffrey Epstein's brother, who does not believe that his brother committed suicide. He believed his brother was killed. We're going to play a clip to where you can listen to the brother's thoughts on this very subject. And we also have some of the victims that have not been given justice. Justice have not been served for those young girls that was involved in this. So of course, people want the files released. They want to get to the bottom of it. And any and every one that was involved, other than Ghislaine Maxwell, who is the only person to be charged in this case, one woman, they're saying that did this all by herself. That's bull. So yes, we are still talking about it. Listen to this clip of Jeffrey Epstein's brother and his take on what he thinks happened in that prison to his brother.
But Mark, for you, it's personal. This was your brother. And just so everybody knows, Mark wasn't part of anything that his brother was doing in this regard. He's never been connected to it. There's never been a suggestion. It's not about that. But Mark, you do not believe what the administration, the Trump administration, is putting out about your brother now. Why?
Well, every time they say something or do something to try to quash the fact that he was most likely murdered, they just put their foot further down their mouth. I mean, for instance, Kash Patel in the congressional hearing, he listed his credentials as a prosecutor and other such things, and he said that it was a suicide. He said, "You know a suicide when you see it." That's basically what he said. So the questions that popped into my mind was, first of all, number one, how many suicides has he seen? Number one. Two, is he a forensic pathologist? Does he have a medical degree? Does he have a certificate that he passed the CPR course? Does he have a Boy Scout merit badge for first aid? What is he basing his expertise on? Contrast that to Dr. Roman, who was a city pathologist who did the autopsy. She came out of the autopsy and said she couldn't call it a suicide because it looked too much like a homicide. Dr. Michael Baden, who was there on my behalf, who witnessed the autopsy, also concurred that it looked more like a homicide than a suicide. Now, was Kash Patel in the autopsy room? No. Was Kash Patel in the prison when they found Jeffrey? No, I don't think so. And if he was there, that raises even a bigger question. So every time they say something, I mean, when Kash Patel came out with that statement, I laughed at how stupid it was. And then they just released this video. This you're going to like. After the death, a few days after the death, Bill Barr, the Attorney General, said he saw that video and he saw that nobody went in or out of the tier, and that convinced him it was a suicide. And I heard that and I realized how stupid that was, because no one could get to that door, go in, kill somebody, leave completely undetected. So that's like an asinine concept. So if Jeff was killed, he was either killed by somebody on the tier or when they locked up the tier. So that's one part of it. Now, I asked to get the footage from that same camera on the Freedom of Information Act from 10 o'clock the night before until noon the following morning. That would show who locked up the tier, who were the last people on that tier. And in the morning, it would show, Michael Thomas going in the garden, finding the body, and it would show what the situation was when they removed the body from the tier. I was initially told I couldn't get that footage because it was still an open investigation. Okay, I understand that. But then when the investigation was over, I asked for that footage again, okay? And I was now told that the cameras that were operating don't show that area.
That's right.
I have this in writing from the Bureau of Prisons, that the cameras that were operating
I remember.
don't show that. And I was very specific about the footage, the same footage that Bill Barr saw.
No, Mark, listen, I get it.
So that's Mark Epstein, the brother of Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, we all know Jeffrey Epstein was a horrible person. He was a creep. He did a lot of bad things to young girls. He was even brought to trial in Florida, I think in around 2002, 2006, somewhere up in there, and was convicted, but he was given a slap on the wrist. He basically got away with everything he had been doing. Come back around to 2019 when they finally arrested him again and brought him to court and was about to get charges and convictions going on him. Somehow he was killed in prison, or like they say, committed suicide. Well, this guy on your screen that you're seeing right now was Donald Trump's attorney general at the time, just like Pam Bondi is right now. Pam Bondi is from Florida, and I think she was the attorney general or district attorney or something like that during Jeffrey Epstein's first trial down in Florida in early 2000. So Bill Barr oversaw Jeffrey Epstein's locking away in 2019 when he committed suicide or was killed. So in my opinion, Pam Bondi, the FBI director, Kash Patel, and even the former Donald Trump Attorney General Bill Barr should be brought down to Congress in front of the Senate and the House and be made to answer questions about the Jeffrey Epstein saga, because it's been going on a very long time. Someone is having these people protect them, and that someone happens to be Donald Trump. So I'm going to leave you guys with the clip that's going to be very sensitive, so be aware of some of the victims who are now grown women with families of their own, who were the young girls at the time. They're going to give you a few of the stories about what happened to them by Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and some of the men who have not been brought to justice, what they did to these young girls. Let's have a listen to this.
This is everything. The only solace for me is that when a group of people who've experienced trauma of this kind come together united against a common enemy, there's a very special bond between us all.
A painful bond shared among these 6 women sitting together for the first time for an exclusive interview with NBC News.
I find it very comforting to be here.
Marika Chartouni, Anushka DeGiorgio, and Rachel K. Benavidez sharing their stories about Epstein for the first time on television.
I think the nature of this kind of abuse means that you're conditioned to be silent, to be isolated, secretive, and shameful.
I feel like, it was a big game for him, and we were the pieces of his game.
And you're like, I'm just not going to say anything because that's what he told me to do.
The women all have familiar stories of grooming, promises, and then sexual assault.
I can relate to pretty much every person sitting here next to me.
Virginia Roberts Jeffrey says Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell recruited her one summer when she was working as a locker room attendant at Mar-a-Lago. In her first broadcast interview, Virginia tells NBC News what she has previously alleged in court filings, that Epstein directed her to also have sex with a number of powerful men, among them Britain's Prince Andrew.
He was an abuser. He was a participant.
Virginia says she was 17 when this photo was taken with the prince in Maxwell's London townhome, next to the bathroom where she says he sexually abused her.
What happened? The first time in London, I was so young. Ghislaine woke me up in the morning and said, "You're going to meet a prince today." I didn't know at that point that I was going to be trafficked to that prince. And then that night, Prince Andrew came to her house in London, and we went out to Club Tramp. Prince Andrew got me alcohol. It was in the VIP section. I'm pretty sure it was vodka. Prince Andrew was like, let's dance together. And I was like, okay. And we leave Club Tramp, and I hop in the car with Ghislaine and Jeffrey. And Ghislaine said he's coming back to the house. And I want you to do for him what you do for Epstein. I couldn't believe it.
Virginia says the abuse moved from the bathroom to a bedroom.
He wasn't rude or anything about it. He said, thank you, and some kind of soft sentiments like that, and left. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that even royalty were involved.
She says Prince Andrew abused her 2 more times, once in New York in Epstein's mansion, and again at his Virgin Islands estate.
Prince Andrew, of course, denies that this ever happened.
He denies that it ever happened, and he's going to keep denying that it ever happened. But he knows the truth, and I know the truth.
What do you say if people think this is about money for you, that you're trying to get money and have gotten money?
Well, unfortunately, there's this horrible law called statute of limitations. My lawyer said the way to get Ghislaine Maxwell held accountable, the way to get Jeffrey Epstein held accountable, is through them saying I'm a liar, which I'm not. So it's called a defamation suit.
Like all others she's named, Prince Andrew has denied the allegations. Buckingham Palace telling NBC News in a statement, it is emphatically denied that the Duke of York had any form of sexual contact or relationship with Virginia Roberts. Any claim to the contrary is false and without foundation. Maxwell has not been criminally charged and has repeatedly denied the accusations against her.
What does justice look like to you now?
Justice now is holding accountable the perpetrators that helped him and participated with him, and encouraging more people to come forward so we can try to put this puzzle together and understand how it happened. How did this happen for so long? How did he get away with it?
These are questions many of these women have asked, especially now, after Epstein's suicide in jail, awaiting trial on child sex trafficking and conspiracy charges.
I feel let down, that he was able to commit suicide. Yeah, it was really upsetting.
They failed us before. Don't fail us again.
Exactly.
That's all we're asking. Take us serious. We matter. You matter. You matter, and you matter. And for all the girls out there, you all matter too.
Yes.
A message to other possible victims of Epstein still waiting in the shadows.
Jeffrey thought that we were disposable, and he threw us all away. And look who's still standing.
There's something about seeing the group of women together with those shared stories that is incredibly compelling, as is Virginia's story.
The image itself is powerful,
Yeah.
and the words even more powerful.
Yeah, you can see Savannah's full conversation, a special Dateline that is.
Donald Trump think everyone is as stupid as his MAGA followers, as his MAGA base. He's going to the well again, bringing up Clinton, Obama, trying to blame them for this Epstein saga, this Epstein scandal that he's caught up in with his own base and his own followers. But no, guess what? It's all because of Elon Musk. Elon Musk brought up the Epstein files. He's the one that's got us talking about Jeffrey Epstein again, and it may be the one thing that takes Trump down. That's right, Elon Musk. Look at this one. I ask you guys to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you.